did. But an expansion of that would be, we already had. We think these hats and masks are actually a pretty fun new addition. As simple as it is, these aren't things you can buy. These are things you can only get by playing during each release and completing a quest that only exists during that release. And so that's has turned out to be great for making sure that all of our players come and play each release, because they want to build up the collection of having all those hats that will only exist in the world or only be added into the world during these releases. And so it's fun for the players. It's fun for us. You can look around and see who the hot players are, because the quests get harder and harder. Especially this time, it became actually quite hard. So it's been a good win-win for players and for us.
I'm glad this feature is still in the game.
Which one?
The two types of maps.
Oh, cool.
I remember you saying it was kind of harder than maybe you thought it was going to be to implement. I'm glad it's still here.
This full 3D version was a little more challenging than we thought, and it's still. This is our first attempt to really polish it up, but we still think that it has
much less work than most other parts of the game in it. So this is still pretty early in its.
And the way it'll function is, oh yay, I'm in, because I crashed too. So the way it's going to function is as you're traveling along on the map, and I'm running to meet you guys. I guess you guys are out here somewhere.
Zone to me, by the way. If you zone to me, I'm standing on a hill outside the Obsidian Keep.
Yeah, I'm running over.
Is the Obsidian Keep a shack in the woods next to a lake?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's what we mean by
Gray Alpha.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Dark Tower, which is the Obsidian Keep, is being modeled by the artist back in Austin right now.
So the way the map will work is as you walk along, like old school RPGs and JRPGs, the way that sometimes you'll get into a random encounter that'll pull you into like a forest scene or a plain scene or a road scene, or you can go to these named points of interest. So you'll notice that there's some runic over that quote shack. So if you double click on that, it'll take you into a scene, and
if you hit the enter at the bottom.
Oh, I'm sorry, hit enter at the bottom.
This Obsidian Keep is one of my favorite maps in the game right now, and it's my favorite for a number of reasons. Not only just aesthetically like it, but it's the first one where we've had enough game systems on board to where we could. Let's do the frontal assault here, guys. Let's take the upper path. But it allows us to start to fulfill one of my mandates for the team, which is to make sure that maps are not just ever-increasing difficulty of creatures to face, but rather there are puzzles in each adventure that require you to talk to people and or read books and or pay attention to the signs and or search for secret entrances. And then once you even have done that, figure out how to unlock doors or bring down drawbridges or shoot things at a distance to, be able to actuate them in a way that you couldn't do. I know that particular one wasn't very clear, but when we get up closer to the front of the building, I'll show you what we're talking about. That this is again a fun adventure beyond the pale of combat. Although, again, by the way, there's so many people that have followed us in that the combats are going to be relatively pre-cleared for you. And in fact, if we can maybe we'll tell Violation to save some for us.
I'm getting some swings in. I just got the loot a skeleton, got some gold and a long sword. And so, as far as the loot's concerned, on what is being dropped, are you guys trying to stay like, if it's carrying it, it might drop it, but if you don't see it on the mob, chances are it's not going to have it?
Correct.
That's generally the case. Yeah. So the skeletons you see with carrying sword and shield, they will generally have a sword and shield, and the spiders will generally have nothing other than poison sacks, etc. So here, I don't know if you can see. Whoops. Don't want to get too close to the front here. Let's. If you come near me, can you see me, Buckhorn? Rob?
Where'd you go?
And Darkstar and I.
Yeah, I see Darkstar. Oh, I see you.
I'm in more. So don't come over here to where I am, but you can see there's a dead archer here. I'm just taking something out of his inventory. But to get over by that archer, you notice the archers on the wall of this defensive keep can see us, and so we can't actually go search that body safely until we have taken out those archers. It turns out this guy on the ground here has a clue about a back way in. Now, this drawbridge you'll see in front of us is down, but you'll notice that you might be able to see up on, the right-hand part of that front tower has been destroyed, and there's a lamp up there that is sitting right next to the crank that lets that drawbridge go up and down. And so if you stand right here where this archer is and survive the onslaught of arrows, you can actually bring down that drawbridge by destroying the crank that is up there in that destroyed part of the tower, and therefore gain access to the front of this castle. On the other hand, let's suppose we couldn't do that. There's actually a way over here to the left where Darkstar just was. Do you see where he's coming back from? You can see over here there's a well out here in this field that is outside the walls, outside the moat or the river here that goes by in front of this. Well, in this well...
I accidentally just took the key. Well, hold on. Maybe I can put it back. Hold on.
I don't know if you can or not. But that dead archer had a note on him that describes the fact that there is a key to the inner keep hidden in the well. And
yeah,
so...
If you open it up, if you double-click on the well, it should be in there, I think.
Yes, I just took the key to the Obsidian Keep.
Perfect. Okay, let's go back in.
And so now we could, whether we come in the front door or the back door, that would be necessary to get into the inner keep, is to have that key. And if we went in without it, as soon as we were to cross this drawbridge, more bad guys are going to spawn to come from the same direction we came from. And so to go back out will actually be very difficult. One of the best ways to survive in here is actually to come inside and then raise the drawbridge back up so that more bad guys can't get in behind us. And so you get the idea that we're developing, tactics within the scenario that are much more sophisticated than just, plow your way through.
That's good. I like the mental challenge, the puzzles. They're fun, as opposed to let's just steamroll everything and maybe pick up the story as we're going through.
And so yes, now we're headed on up. We can take off some of these. They don't come fighting us from behind. And the key that you have will become essential here in a little bit.
It's raining.
That's the soothing rain. That's somebody helping you to help keep you alive.
It's a water magic spell. That's just an area of effect.
Okay. Coming up here where Darkstar is.
And next to this torch, there's a key plate that you have to use. If you double click on that.
And so I'm keeping the guys just inside busy with some arrows shooting through at them. And there you go. You've used the key plate. You open the latch, and there you go. So now the front gate should open. And we can now fan out in this next plaza.
How many different scenarios like this are going to be available when the game finally hits a release candidate?
So across the game, the differentiation between a scenario and a town and a control point is very subtle. Some things are multiples at once, but the short answer to your question is there's well over 100 maps of all types combined, often intermixed. So it's hard to say exactly how many of any one type there are. Hey, now that I see everybody up here fighting this Lich, which is normally the very tough bad guy, that Lich, by the way, is going through a cycle of various AI behaviors of summoning support and doing other things. But again, he's been mobbed by so many here that he was taken out pretty quickly. But follow me over here to the side, the left side from there.
He was scared of Elbow.
See here the tour guide. This is what we do each release is we put a tour guide in the tough place to get of each map. And to get the hat of this release, you have to have spoken with the tour guide in each of the new maps that we place in the world. And we place those tour guides in a place that's somewhat difficult to reach. And so if you speak with this tour guide, he might tell you, congratulations, and go and find all the other tour guides, and they'll give you a fancy hat. Of course, you already have one since Starr gave it to you, but that is normally how you would acquire it. Starr, I still have the...
I love having the problem of having too many players in the game.
Yeah.
That is a good problem to have.
And they all have the developer tool called Zone, which we gave everybody the Zone capability because it aids with testing. But this is also how we can... normally, it would only be our party in this map, not everyone else at the same time.
And how large are the parties? I can't remember off the top of my head. I see we have quite a few in this one.
Eight is the current limit.
Okay.
And that's more or less an arbitrary number that we've set at the moment. If it looks like gameplay is more fun with more or less, we can adjust that.
All right. Well, this will probably be our last stop since we're already well over our. Oh no, we're not quite.
But Starr, we do need to get someplace with the ethereal amplifier.
Yes, because he wanted to show that off at the beginning.
We're coming. Church of the Dark Star. We're good.
All right.
So
he's got his own.
I'm not going to have to listen to a chaos sermon, am I?
Hopefully you will.
My ears are going to be burning. I don't know what I'm going to do.
You know, one thing I've always noticed, Richard, when you talk about virtue, is you seem to be like, you should be prepared to face what comes at the end. So are you virtuous out of fear that something bad will happen if you're chaotic through life? Or are you virtuous because you just want to be good?
I think virtue innately is its own reward. Interesting, if you ask me my true beliefs as a Earth human, I would have to say my true beliefs are somewhat Buddhist, not in the reincarnation sense, but in the virtue and compassion are their own reward. That being virtuous becomes a virtuous circle in life, and we try to make sure the game reflects that. And so the game, if you live by the virtues in the game, and I can zone to you now. It looks like Starr, right?
Yeah.
If you in this game, if you do things like are constantly stealing and cheating and murdering and doing all these things that are antisocial or non-virtuous, at least in some way, then I think you will. We actually do have the game respond appropriately, and so therefore the path of virtue really is a good way to get ahead in this game. Now, it's not the only one, and living a life of enforced virtue, of course, has some real downsides. You can just look at our surveillance state we have built ourselves here in America and debate whether having a forced set of common standards is always a good thing. And so we put that in this game too. So I do have an affinity, or I can understand people who choose the path of chaos, or at least reject the formality of the virtues. But this game has them.
I just found it interesting the way that you would talk to Starr about, his affinity for chaos and how he should be afraid of what's going to happen at the end, and that you are virtuous. And I do agree with you that in real life that virtue is its own rewards, but it just, the way you were talking, it seemed more like I'm being good in game because I don't want to get screwed at the end.
Well, of course, we don't want to give away the details of the plot, but we've not made any. We've made no illusions. We've tried to be very upfront about the fact that this game has a very deep virtue story in it, and we've done a much better job than we could have ever done in the UO time frame of trying to figure out how to tell a multiplayer story about virtues that has a conclusion that is fulfilling for you, no matter how you choose to play. And I know that doesn't tell you much as to what it necessarily is, but that's why you have to play it. Find out.
And we shall. And Pax Lair is.
Yeah, so Winfield is going to give us a short tour.
And by the way, Pax Lair, if you don't know the history of Pax Lair was the first player-made city in Ultima Online, which is arguably the first big, long-term, successful, persistent world. It existed from the beginning. It exists to this day. And Winfield was the founder and mayor of Pax Lair and Ultima Online. And he came across here to Shroud of the Avatar and has built and continues to refine and grow Pax Lair here in New Britannia as well. And the job that they do for role-playing this environment, both from a visual standpoint as well as storytelling but basically any other detail you would like to speak about, is truly amazing.
We've met Winfield before. I believe it was probably 4 releases ago. 7 or 8.
Yep.
We've been to the Church of the Dark Star. It was kind of Spartan last time we were in here.
Yeah, it seems to have gotten a little bigger. I don't know why you would need it this big, but...
So you got a jukebox in here? It looks like that way.
Yeah, so if you double click on that, it'll turn on.
I don't know. My double clicking skills are not very good.
Oh, that didn't work?
No. I mean, it's like double clicking fail.
I've got my sound turned way down so I don't double echo into you, but I'll check to make sure it's working for me. Seems to be.
Oh, is it a purely audio thing? Because I do have my sound way down.
It is purely audio. What you'll see is that device on the floor in front of the podium is the live voice rebroadcaster of Avatar's radio. And so Avatar's radio will simulcast various events in the game. And so we have had Avatar's radio do things such as they did a live play on stage, and instead of having to type text that shows up over your head and then emote to do visuals in the game, they actually had their actors speak via TeamSpeak, fed that all into Avatar's radio, which not only broadcast on avatarsradio.com, but also broadcast out of that box in the front of the room, or in the case of the play, on stage. They did that for simulcasting the competitions for the Bear Tavern tournament. And they do it in here for speeches. And it looks to me like Darkstar himself may be taking the podium to give one of his heretical speeches on chaos.
He has some naysayers in the crowd. But even you're sitting down to listen. What's up with that?
Well, I want to be somewhat respectful. I am in the front row yelling virtue. So, I like what Edward Vitralis is spouting: unity, trust, and worthiness. Some ideals I've heard before from some misguided people in games past. And even though Starr is typing to speak here, again, if he were simulcasting with the Avatar's radio people, he could give a live verbal presentation here that everyone in this room would just hear by listening to him speak.
Very cool to focus on the role-playing aspects.
Would you like to say something now, Richard?
Won't the church like fall apart if that happens?
No. Huh. All right. Well, we have one more stop. We're gonna head over to the player town of Holtrot before we leave.
Okay.
And I will now summon you. Which you could zone at your leisure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
got the zone.
Oh yeah, now I know where we're headed. You're gonna like this one. And do you want to say what it is first, Starr, or can I jump in?
No, go for it.
Okay, so we have some incredible maze builders in this game, and when I say incredible, I mean people who have figured out how to use our decorating system to an incredible effect. And it's been really fun to watch them evolve their skills. And what I mean by that is that the mazes were very simple and raggedy for the first release or two. Then they became, frankly, far too complicated. They started building these giant, mazes, multi-level, three-dimensional things that, while they were very impressive, they quickly became far more than I could ever finish myself. And if there was a logical way to complete them, I don't, at least it was beyond my personal skill. The most recent set of mazes they've been building, I think, are both really beautiful, very nicely organized, challenging enough to be hard to get through, rewarding enough when you get to the end to kind of feel really good when you've got there, get a nice vista or some kind of payoff. And they've even figured out how to use. We restrict people to building things within the lot, the parameters, the 20 by 40 meters or whatever lot size they purchase. They have to build everything within that lot size. And what they figured out how to do is to build things that are in adjacent lots, but the two mazes have a jump where you can jump from a high spot on one to a high spot on the other. So you could never have done that on the ground. You have to have basically completed the first maze and then jump across to the high point that is the start of the second maze to continue in the second piece of property. And so it allows them to really make these incredibly sophisticated, very sprawling things. And where did you go, Dark Starr? I'm looking for you to...
I accidentally spawned a copy of that map using developer commands, so I need to summon you guys to a new place.
Oh, okay, so we'll go to you again.
You'll notice a striking difference when you show up. Richard, you can zone to me.
Yep, on it. Yeah, these have been one of my favorite things to get a chance to play with here. And Royal Sexy here, who's just behind us with a very interesting name as well, was one of the folks who was doing the simulcasting of a lot of the activities on Saturday. Doing a really great job. Okay, I see you guys are both in this maze already.
Yes.
Which is...
Okay, well, good luck.
Definitely challenging.
Yes, and oops, no, Starr, I think you're going down a dead end.
Ah,
Okay, so I'm in one where you gotta jump across the chasm and fail.
In which case you got to start over if you fail. You have to go back to the beginning of the entrance, which is really painful. But might be needed. By the way, if you want my cheat method of how to do this, they actually tell people to zoom into first person to make it as the proper level of difficulty, and they can actually put roofs on these if they want to. But since they didn't, if you look straight down and scroll your camera back, you can get sort of an overview of at least some part of the maze.
I've already been doing that.
Like I do.
Yeah, I'm not running around through it first person.
All right. There we go. Now I'm on the second half myself. Working my way through. Nope, that is going to be a dead end. I can tell right now.
All right, my dead end is failing to jump. I'm not timing it well. So there was a radio station you wanted to show us as well to go along with the maze?
Right at the entrance, there was a radio station of the maze. And I'm
okay.
I'm going to jump back out. I've just jumped back out of the maze, and
just follow Kazeen Phoenix Fire. He's going to take us. So this is another guild that we're hanging out with, which is the Port Phoenix Guild.
And they specifically are a guild of builders, if I am correct.
Yes.
And so that's sort of their thing, is they're here to build infrastructure. And each release, they come back and start doing this building of infrastructure, which is really amazing.
Here's your Shroud of the Avatar picture again.
Did you say you crashed out, or were we saying there you went to the Shroud of the Avatar picture? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you mean the tile, the mosaic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have some radios.
And with those radios, what's interesting is, by the way, that art was player made. That the code to make those play was player made, and they're made to where they can tune to really any station. So over time, we'll be able to make these radios kind of tune to a variety of things. It could be if the users create more of these community radio stations, we'll be able to showcase multiples of them. You might be able to tune the radio, so to speak, to whatever channel you wish. And things of this nature. So those will be plentiful and diverse in their utilization in the world. And here, I am now up near the end with Tarson here.
Yeah, they're not working for me for some reason.
I've got my flame turned down enough to where I don't want to blast you guys, so I don't.
Are they working for you, Rob, if you double click on it?
I don't really think so. Let me turn my volume up here. It still just seems like the normal background music to me.
Okay, they may not be working here today. They were working over the weekend.
Pre-alpha. All right. All right, well, we started with player-made content. We ended with player-made content. We had some adventures in the middle, and that's just kind of a taste. And that's not even half of what's in the game at this point. So for anyone who's interested in seeing more, we'd love to have you join us.
Where can they find you, Starr?
shroudoftheavatar.com. And as we mentioned last time, we are running a promotion with Alienware. There's a $20 coupon, so $25 will get you a copy of the game and access to all this early access pre-alpha goodness. So,
and of course, if you're already a Steam user, here within just a few weeks, 3 or 4 weeks from now, we'll be launching on Steam early access. You can join us that way as well.
yeah, and the more people we get, the more data we can get to make the game better.
And of course, we're also doing a Black Friday special where all the things you might want to buy in game, you can actually you can buy at a discount all the way through, starting a week or so ago, but running through Cyber Monday, or soon after Cyber Monday. What is the actual day? I guess it's the morning after Cyber Monday. Wait till the time zones end Cyber Monday around the world. But all the way through Cyber Monday, we're also running a special discount for anything that everybody wants to buy in the game.
All right, gentlemen, sounds great. Thanks for coming on and showing off the game. We can obviously see improvements from the previous release, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have next time for us.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
next time we do the stream, we'll all be playing from Steam.
So you'll solely be on Steam once you.
No. Well, I mean, just
No.
while we're doing the stream, we'll play.
Gotcha.
We'll be playing from Steam too.
I understand.
But yeah, Steam is an optional way to play the game. You can still play directly through our website.
Okay. Glad we cleared that up. All right. Thanks again for coming on. Thanks for everybody showing up tonight and watching. And remember to tune in to MMORPG.com for all the latest news on Shroud of the Avatar and your other favorite MMOs.
All right. Thank you.